and it's a multi-camera streaming from the South Mainland of Shetland. You should be seeing the sun just setting on what looks like a windy but clear night for this very special and final Up Helly Aa of the season. Now, some of you will be aware that the South Mainland Up Helly Aa was due to go ahead 2 weeks ago, but because of the really severe snow conditions, the police decided that for safety reasons, and mainly because buses couldn't get access to some of the narrow roads in the South Mainland, it should not go ahead. And in actual fact, the Jarl squad did move around the various halls, and the various parties in the halls in the South Mainland were not cancelled 2 weeks ago. So there was a lot of enjoyment and a lot of dancing and a lot of music. But the burning of the galley and the procession and all the fire and flame and fun of that did not go ahead and has been delayed until tonight. Now, what you're seeing at the moment are just some of the stewards and some of the geysers arriving from all over Shetland, in fact, as well as the South Mainland, to take part in tonight's event. It's going to be one of the most spectacular Up Helly Aas. We will see, I hope, if everything goes to plan, the galley being burnt at sea off St Ninian's Isle, off the Tombola, the double-sided beach at St Ninian's Isle, in the South Mainland of Shetland. And that will be a truly spectacular sight. We are seeing at the moment the cameras at the Hill Junction, which is where the procession will start. And as darkness falls and light up takes place, I can promise you some really spectacular sights. The Jarl this year is Jamie Lawrenson. He was born and bred in Mews, which is a part of the community of Bigton, and he's representing Bigton tonight. And he is the Viking Einar Hjaltlendinger, who was born and brought up in Shetland and one of the very few Viking chieftains whose lineage can be traced in Iceland. And it's very much the case in this year's run of Up Helly Aas, especially the rural Up Helly Aas, that women and men have participated on an equal footing. And I think for the first time we've seen, instead of Viking princesses in the Jarl squad, we've seen women dressed as Viking warriors, which is historically accurate, apart from anything else. And this year we'll see Jamie Lawrence with his family in the Jarl squad, his wife Mylene, the 3 children, Mark, Claire and Alison, with their partners and grandchildren, Kieran, Sina, Lisbeth and Callum. That's all to come. But meanwhile, just enjoy some of the sights and sounds of the South Mainland of Shetland as we prepare for the procession and burning at the South Mainland Up Helly Aa. I should add, by the way, that this commentary by me, Tom Wharton, is coming from the Northlink ferry Hjaltland, which has just left Aberdeen and is sailing north, and the broadcast, or the audio side of it from my point of view, is all thanks to some very careful finagling with 5G internet, which also enables me to see this entire broadcast in high quality. And you're seeing now the Tombola at St Ninian's Isle, which, as you see as the darkness falls, still looks incredibly spectacular, and you can just imagine what that's going to look like when the galley is burnt. Now, I do hope to be able to tell you a wee bit about the galley, if I can find my notes. The galley is named Longaberg, which is after a rock on St Ninian's Isle, and work began on building her on the first Monday in September. This, of course, is, as well as being the Up Helly Aa, which is delayed for 2 weeks because of the weather. It is delayed for 3 years because of COVID and lockdown. And it very nearly went ahead. It was days away, I think, from going ahead when the first lockdown came in and saw it cancelled. I should tell you it's extremely windy, and there will be a bit of wobbliness in some of the camera as they cover the events of the night. So forgive us that. It's been a mammoth task, and all down to Andy Stephen really and his small team in putting this together. So I hope that you'll stay tuned and enjoy it. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on the Promote Shetland Facebook page on Shetland Webcams and at uphellyA.com. It's quite appropriate that I'm providing this commentary from the Northlink Ferry Yachtland on my way north to Shetland, because one of the sponsors of this event and the coverage of it is Northlink Ferries. We're very grateful to them. I should say, by the way, that because our microphones are placed out in the open air, we will be picking up the comments of people as they pass, and some of those could be fairly robust and pithy, so take that into account when you're listening and who you're letting listen to it. As I say, it is a windy night in the South Mainland of Shetland, and there will be a bit of wind noise on the coverage because the cameras are unmanned. There's no operators behind them. We have to do what we can centrally to control them. And what's going to happen tonight is that around about 7:30 or 7:15 the Earl's Court, and the others will gather at the Hayhill Junction, and the light up will take place at 7:30 before the procession begins. Bigton looking really spectacularly lovely there, I think, in the twilight. It's a really characterful village in Shetland. Small croft houses huddled together. And St Ninian's Isle, which is world famous, is one of the best examples in the world of a two-sided beach, a tombola, as it's called, not a tombola, which is something else entirely.
You're reflecting. Lee, go to the left. Your head's reflecting on the thing.
If you'd like to watch the coverage, you can do it on YouTube, but if you want to comment or send a message to some of the other people who are watching live online throughout the world, or indeed to anyone who's participating in Smooha, then go to the Promote Shetland Facebook page, where the whole thing is being broadcast live. Some of you I know are already watching that, and you can comment there, and I can read out some of the comments. Let's see, there's one from David Chandler, who wanted to be there for Smooha, but sadly the house purchase hasn't gone through yet, so it will have to be next year. And Annette Goranthon says, "Happy Up Helly Aa, great to take part from Sweden. I wish I was back in Shetland." Do get in touch. That's the Promote Shetland Facebook page, and you can comment just below the video, which is going out right now. Seeing the galley, which is in position for the beginning of the procession. Built using the same design as previous years, painted white by Almond Stove and Malcolm Smith with oak and mahogany painted top board and gunnels. The head and tail have been crafted and painted by Ewan Robertson and Steve Mully. And the sail is made to match the colours of the squad suits, which we'll be seeing in due course, and decorated with images from the squad emblem and shields by Eric Moncrief. And the emblem is really powerful, star shape, I think. We'll be looking forward to seeing the Jarl squad with their shields and their costumes very shortly. And the galley is named, as I said before, Longaberg, which is the name of a rock at St Ninian's Isle. Graham White is watching from Harrogate in North Yorkshire, wishing everyone involved good luck. Caroline Colby is watching from Nottingham and thinks it looks a little cold, but I think I can tell you, even though I'm nice and warm on board the MV Hjeltland, I think it is pretty cold at Bigton. Fran Hanley is in California in the USA and watching with great enjoyment. Good wishes coming in for Jamie Lawrenson, who is, of course, the Jarl. Elizabeth Edwards is sending her best. Pamela Smith Says, please say hi to Atlanta, who's 5. She sat with her iPad watching and is very excited. Now, somebody, Richard Oliver's watching from Mid Wales. Lois, I think that would be pronounced, but I could be entirely wrong. And Charlene Reid is in Claire Sykes' sofa. Well, that sounds comfy. Darkness gathering, and we're about 15 minutes away from the light up. Lots and lots of excitement in Bigton, and indeed throughout the world. Neil Forsyth is wishing everyone a safe and happy South Mainland Up Helly Aa from Stamford in Lincolnshire. Richard Oliver, can't wait for June to be back in Shetland. Just looking at the list of squads, and they include some fascinating titles. We can only imagine what the theme of the squads, because there's only one Viking squad at an Up Helly Aa, and that is the Jarl squad. They're the only ones dressed as Vikings. The other are geysers who have a theme and a performance which they will put on in the various halls that they visit. So some of the squads this year are Dancing Through the Decades, Sluhat Drag Race, what that might be about, possibly something to do with cars, Real Rocket Man, Come On Mylene, something using a Shetland word which has a meaning which I don't think I should try and communicate in this stream. That's squad number 18, if anybody knows. Fleequalizer, no idea what that could refer to. Anyway, lots and lots of squads taking part, which is great. You may be able to hear the sound of a brass instrument warming up. That would be part of the brass band who will be accompanying the procession. By the way, if you do hear any interruptions from my side of things, do remember I am aboard a ship. So we're seeing the first torches arrive, and here is some of the former Jarls who will be guiding and shepherding and helping out. Bob Kerr says, fabulous, I'm missing this tonight. 3 cheers for Sluha. Shirley McGregor says, all the best for the player Gowrie. Meanwhile, Angela Van Gemert Carista is in Michigan, which is in the USA, of course. enjoying watching the live stream.
Attention please, could Brian Chalmers contact reception? That's Brian Chalmers.
Well, if you've just joined us, welcome to our coverage of the South Mainland Up Helly Aa procession and burning night on and we are watching at the moment and listening to the brass band as we prepare for the light up. If you'd like to comment, Promote Shetland are sponsoring this coverage tonight. Go to the Promote Shetland Facebook page and have a comment there if you like. Message from Seabirds and Seals, the way it's finally on. Brian Marie and all the team at Seabirds and Seals, Gospel, Jamie, Miley, and all the owners who are fantastic. We also wish all other guys a fantastic. Hello to Anna, who says, I love to admire you. Oh, feelings entirely mutual. Greetings from a small Italian village in the Tyrrhenian Sea in Cesare. Brilliant. Don Parker is watching in East Texas. Well, under a tornado watch. Here we go with the Arl squad. Arriving with their flaming torches. At long last, Jimmy Lawrenson has his day in the glare of the torches as the gathering begins. Quite work out whether this is a heavy police presence or a squad dressed as policemen, but I have a feeling it's the latter. Everybody just getting organised here with the Jarl Jamie Lawrenson, Einar getting settled in the galley. Einar Hjaltlandinger lived in Iceland during the 10th century, born and brought up here in Shetland. Apparently, in Njál's saga, it tells how his father Ari sailed to Shetland, found himself a wife and their son Einar, called Hjaltlandinger by the Icelanders, which appropriately enough means the Shetlander. He's described in the saga as briskest and boldest of men. It's quite a solemn and emotional moment, this, actually, because after all the delays, the delay during lockdown for several years, and then all the expectations 2 weeks ago, which were so unfortunately dashed, but now we have the moment when it will all come to pass for Jamie, his family, for the Jarl squad, for everyone participating in Smuha, the South Mainland Up Helly Aa. What is also on board the MV Hjaltland on his way to Shetland. Missed the grand event by 1 day. Rosie Stewart saying hello to Diane. Apparently, Seabirds and Seals didn't hear that comment. I think that was because of the background noise. All we heard was Seabirds. Well, they were just wishing everyone involved all the best from the No Sport people organised the No Sport. Okay, that's the fireworks to signify the lighting up, and should be able to see that happening now as the various geysers begin to light their torches. There we are, from the flare, that familiar purple colour which we see every time at any of the Up Helly Aas, marine flare. There we go. The light up begins. You can see the silhouette of one of the Viking ex-Jarls or ex-Jarl squads members who is helping here. And so the South Mainland Up Helly Aa procession is at last about to begin. Oh no, it's not. See, that's the brass band. You couldn't see the instruments earlier. Excellent. Not the police. Not the police, and certainly not a squad dressed as the police, which should probably leave. Windy night, as you can see, and always a perilous business slightly with these torches, paraffin-soaked sackcloth, and sparks can fly. So if you're wearing artificial fibres, as I often say, or a wax cotton jacket, just be prepared to deal with some holes the next day. And so the procession is underway. You can see that a good turnout of geysers and squads, full of enthusiasm, despite what looks like some pretty windy weather. Plenty of interesting costumes, giving an indication of what's going to be seen and heard in the course of the night as halls in the South Mainland. Tammy Brooks is saying hello from Canada. Laurie Christian is in Texas. And Pam Thomas is in the Black. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, some of the cameras are a bit wobbly, and because of the weather, it is a bit tricky to get some of them to function properly. Also, don't send Andy any text messages, because that switches off the video. Ooh, there are some folk there who are pretty scantily clad. One would really hope that they have some sort of backup with space blankets and insulated fleeces, and I'm sure they do. Okay, we've switched to another camera and we will be beginning to see the procession approaching. Here we go. Terry Thompson is wishing Jamie Lawrence a great night. Now it's finally here. Janet Morgan is in Stafford, and I think Janet's son is in one of the squads. Melanie McGrief Williams in southwest Georgia, and Crystal Eklund, appropriately enough, is watching from Scandinavia, from Finland. Now, isn't that a great picture of the procession from a distance? A line of fiery torches making its way from Bigton. Hello to Althea Thompson, Bigtoners watching from Aberdeen and Spain. Have a brilliant night. Oh, great to have you on board. procession well underway now, lighting up the night sky in Shetland. You know that old proverb, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothes. Well, I think there may be some people in the procession who are risking that being inaccurate, or perhaps accurate, who knows. Some of the clothing and some of the costumes are not offering a particularly great amount of protection, though they are spectacular. There we have it, big tin aflame, one end to the other. Beverly Martin says, every year I say I'm going to visit Richard Oliver. It's just amazing. It is fantastic to see. So many people joining us right across the world, and you're very welcome. I hope that some of you will have a look at the Promote Shetland, not just the Facebook page but the website too, and have a think about coming to Shetland on holiday or even to stay for longer than that. Just another reminder that because our microphones are just picking up whatever random noise is made, that there could be some fairly robust language. That's a terrific shot of the galley there we saw just approaching towards us. And another great shot. And there we have. Isn't that beautiful? That's the galley Longaberg. It's taken months of work to put it together. Really striking in white. And there's the Owl Squad bearing the torches. Lorraine Bentham is watching from Rutland, with my friend Karen in the USA watching too. And Grant McDougall wants to say hello to Mark Robinson, who's taking part. Laura Matheson is watching in Scalloway, which is not that far away. And Lillian is wishing Jimmy and I, the guys, there's a super night from Lillian Syed, who are watching in London. Lots of enthusiasm from local folk who are watching and who have probably been involved in some way, will be involved later in partying after the procession and burning. And you can see from the robust nature of their clothing that it is cold, no matter what the hardiness of some of the geysers' apparel maybe indicate. Lots of PS, Skovslund Kristofferson is watching from Fjell in Denmark. Now, I should warn you that this commentary may fail at some point because it's dependent on 5G coverage, and the further we get from the coast, the more erratic that will be, in which case, thank you very much for listening. I have a feeling that we are sailing slightly out of range. If you can still hear me, this is the live stream on South Mainland Up Helly Aa, brought to you by Promote Shetland, available on YouTube, Promote Shetland's Facebook page, and at uphellyart.com. Delayed for 2 weeks and delayed for 3 years before that because of COVID, but happening spectacularly now. Amazing to be part of something like this, says Nigel Lupton. I'm still recovering from being part of it. And he's got deleting squad, which I think is an autocorrect, because that would be the Delting Up Helly Aa squad last week. That's Nigel from Hartlepool. Kirsten Richards is in Runcorn, Cheshire, watching the Karen Dunsby wishing Jimmy, Mylene and his family a brilliant smooth Karen watching Richard Oliver wishes holds my crotchy run. It's very calm, there's a wee bit of a wobble, but nothing to see.
I'm on fire! Come on, good! Hey! Oh, it's camera there, look.
we were there. We were in Lerwick for Up Helly Aa in January. There's a dozen Up Helly Aas. This is the Smoothie is the last one of the year. And as the clocks go forward next weekend, we'll move into spring and thoughts will turn to next winter. He's watching Erie, Pennsylvania. I'd love this.
Oh my god! Favorite kid of all time!
So celebrating her ordination last night in the Church of Scotland. Well, there you go. Did that make her the Reverend? Carefully and safely down to St. Michael's Isle. His family as Einar Hjaltlendinger, a Viking born and brought up in Shetland. And if you've seen the programme, perhaps you haven't, I think it might be available online. It's okay, watching the gathering of some of the spectators. I think most of the geysers have now made their way down to St. Michael's Isle. And it's quite distant, but if you look carefully, you should be able to see the galley as launched into the sea. Up Helly Aa. I've been a happy visitor during UHA, and thank you everyone for a fantastic time on Stir Up Helly Aa. This is the South Mainland Up Helly Aa. During stretch all the way up to the most. The strand onto the tombola, which is St. Ninian's Isle. And clearly there are people wondering about who are completely unaware that the South Mainland Up Helly Aa is happening. There are various Up Helly Aas where the galley is burnt at sea, but I think this is a vessel involved in the South Mainland Up Helly Aa in some years. There certainly was one in Hillswick in the North Maven Up Helly Aa, but it is no longer because it is no longer seaworthy. And they used to have the Arl Squad sailing out into the bay at Hillswick, which is dangerous business. Well, as it ought to be with Vikings. Some people saying that the sound has gone. I'm not entirely sure if that's the case or if you're still hearing me here on the MV Helpland as I, with you, watch as best we can the coverage of the South Mainland Up Helly Aa. Listening to myself on the mobile phone, which is not a very good idea. Warren and Kim, who are watching from Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Canada, are enjoying the show, which is great. And Erie, Pennsylvania, yeah, Lake Erie. It's Erie. I think it's Erie, isn't it? Well, if you're watching, what you can see at the moment is a large blackness with a little pinprick of light in the distance, and that, believe it or not, is the galley, the war galley, which is going to be burnt. J.B. Lawrenson, the Jarl, is very familiar with St Ninian's Isle. He spent the majority of his life living with views in the South Mews over the north end of St Ninian's Island, Ireland's Wick. And it has influenced a lot of the squad suit in terms of its visual image. And of course, very enthusiastic lobster fisherman, knows the coastline around here extremely well. So congratulations to Jamie, who is Jarl on this splendid night. From a distance, we're seeing the gathering of the geysers around the galley as it progresses onto St Ninian's Isle. And if you've never been, if you've never seen St Ninian's Isle, it's worth looking up some daytime pictures online, because it is one of the most spectacular sights in Shetland. Double-sided beach leading to an island which was crucial in Shetland history, and on which St Ninian's Chapel lies, and it was where the St Ninian's Isle treasure was found by a schoolboy many years ago, now on display in the National Museum of Scotland, or Royal Museum of Scotland, or whatever it's called these days. Okay, the sound is clear now, apparently, says Angela. Well, I think you might be getting my voice reasonably clearly, but it is a very windy night in Bigton on the South Mainland off Shetland, so some of the microphonic noise from there could be a bit distorted. And Denise is pointing out that people are standing in front of what we can see in the live stream. I'm afraid there's not a lot we can do about that, because we don't have a team of folk, security people to push them out of the way. We're doing our level best, but you know, if you can watch and strain your eyes, you can see what's happening down on the St Ninian's Isle beach as the geysers gather with the, and we look forward to the final conflagration. Leah Thompson is in Hamburg, Germany. I hope you all have a great night. And yeah, we could, Janet, if we could get a camera nearer the galley, we would. But I think there's a problem with the 4G reception down there, so that wouldn't work very well. We're just doing our very best here. Maggie is enjoying watching and is looking forward to visiting in Shetland, while Susan and Duncan are in Wales. It's important to realise that Up Helly Aa, what it means is the lightning of the year, and it's particularly a powerful image, I think, at this particular juncture, as the year is genuinely coming to life, and spring is with us. I've just driven up today from Melrose in the Borders, Aberdeen, to catch the boat north, and it's already an advanced spring down there with the lambs in the field, and I know that lambing will very soon be underway in Shetland too. And so as the geysers gather, and you can just see the waves coming ashore there as the flames show you the position of the galley, which will very soon now end its days at sea. So can you give our request a hello to Helen Quirk, who lives in Bigton? I'd be happy to do that. Camera angle is better now. Denise, thank you very much. We are doing best under very difficult circumstances. And Lorraine Bentham says, St Ninian's Isle is just stunning. I loved it when I visited a few years ago. I certainly left a piece of it in Shetland. Technical queries about where exactly in the Hjaltland. I'm not in the Magnus Lounge or in my cabin. Actually, I can't be in my cabin because we've got a dog cabin. There's a dog in there. We would be very disturbed by this. Anita is in Rothes in Murray, and they still have sound, so that's good. Mike Grundon is still former doyen of Radio Shetland, BBC Radio Shetland, is still hearing me, but not entirely clearly. Well, we're doing our best, but as I say, a lot of it will depend on the 4G coverage. And unfortunately, no, we don't have a camera on the beach. We lost one of the cameras earlier, again due to weather. And as I say, we're doing our level best to show you, or just give you an inkling of what's happening at the South Mainland Up Helly Aa. I know that Mike be interested to watch this. He used to live very close where this is all happening. It's a pity almost that so much work has gone into the building of these beautiful ships and then they disappear in a burst of flame and end up as a pile of ashes. But that is something which will be repeated again and again next year. So if you are planning to come to Shetland, think about that. You can come for the big Up Helly Aa, which is in the last Tuesday in January in Lerwick. But remember, there's a dozen or more which you can go to in various parts of the calendar and throughout Shetland. Margaret Knight is watching from Newton Grange. Hello to all my friends in Shetland. And Denise Brennan was in Shetland for a month last fall. I am smitten with St Ninians. And hello to the women of Bigton Farm. Richard Alden wants to move to Shetland. It's a good thing. One of the best things of all of this is the community who can gather and enjoy participating in these great festivals. And you may be reading already that we've lost 2 of our cameras due to weather issues. It's just one of the perils of trying to accomplish this kind of coverage. Okay, and that is the galley afire, and the flames reflecting off the waves as they come in on St Ninian's Isle. It's the end of a long saga for Jamie Lawrence and everyone else involved in Smooha. When you think it goes back to the beginning of COVID, when Jamie would have been the Jarl, and that was obviously postponed and cancelled. And then, of course, with the disappointment of the festival, or the burning and the procession being postponed from 2 weeks ago. But here we are, and a promise of great things in store tonight throughout the South Mainland as people celebrate the return of Smooha. And as we said, we've had a number of difficulties because of the weather with the cameras, but I think even the little glimpse that you have here of the waves coming in and the fireworks going off shows you just what a spectacular event this is, and one worth attending if you ever get the chance. That great sweep of the beach you can just see in the glow of the fireworks. And there goes the ship out into the waves. That's the galley Longaberg, as I've said, named after a rock in St Ninian's Isle. And I think everybody involved in building deserves a great deal of thanks. Great building and decorating. Massive thanks to all the galley builders, torch boys, Smuha committee and individuals who make this spectacle possible. Just catch a glimpse there of the sweep of that beach and the white light works as the galley burns at sea and the geysers watch the shoreline. Beautiful sight that is. Denise gets weepy when seeing the galley burn. Yes, I think there are a lot of people. Richard says thanks for all the great input to all involved, and Laura Mayer is watching in Vermont, USA. Thank you for doing this. It makes us all feel that we're part of it. Well, thank you very much for watching and listening. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and go and make sure that everything is intact with my dog in the cabin in the MV Yachtland. And thanks to everyone here and everyone who has helped put this production together. As I say, we've had a few problems with sound and with the cameras being affected by the weather. But I hope we've been able to give you an inkling of just how spectacular the South Mainland Up Helly Aa is and can be, and I hope it will help you get an appreciation of Shetland, a little inkling of how things happen here. The final Up Helly Aa of the year, we'll be back with coverage next year, and keep a look out at shetlandwebcam.com. You can see all sorts of coverage there during the day. It's on 24 hours a day. See the Aurora Cam, as many people did last night. And we've got Puffin Camp coming up as well, as the puffin breeding season begins and the puffins come in from the ocean to nest at Sumber Head. Thanks very much to Andy for all his hard work, and to everyone else involved in this. Thanks to Promote Shetland for sponsoring the coverage, and to you for watching. Good night.
Hey.